Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Mario Movie Updates. Sorry it took me so long to get to this one, but here we are. Now, in case you might have missed it somehow, on Tuesday, Nintendo and Universal released the second trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, not even 2 months after the first teaser, which really caught me off guard. I thought they would have waited a little longer, but no, it's here, and wow, there's so much to talk about. But we're not just looking at that trailer today, because around the same time, Nintendo and Universal quietly released 2 commercials that show even more footage of the movie, so I figured I would group them in with this second trailer as well. So, let's not waste any more time and just jump right in. Now, the second trailer opens with Mario in a Coliseum about to fight Donkey Kong. There have been some Donkey Kong-themed Coliseum stages in Mario games before, specifically Konga Stadium from Super Mario Strikers. I don't know if that was a direct nod to that game, probably not, but I thought that was worth pointing out. Now, in the hallway when Mario is making his way into the Coliseum, he passes this barrel, which should have been the first indicator that he's about to take on Donkey Kong, because, you know, barrels are kind of Donkey Kong's thing. Now, when Mario actually enters the Coliseum, we can see some question blocks, some brick blocks, and some tire swings. Now, I do want to point out that tires often appeared in the Donkey Kong Country series, and Donkey Kong's treehouse is sometimes depicted with a tire swing outside, so maybe that was a nod to that. The Coliseum is also filled with these giant banana structures, which are similar to the Golden Temple in Donkey Kong Country Returns. The crowd is also filled with several Kong lookalikes. We don't get any good looks at them, but I believe I saw some Funky Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. lookalikes. There are also a few Kongs that kind of look like Wrinkly Kong with the bonnets on their heads. But around the same time as this trailer came out, Universal released these character posters for Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, and Bowser. And in Donkey Kong's poster, if you look in the background, there is no question that is definitely Dixie Kong and Diddy Kong, and I believe that's Swanky Kong over on the left because this one bears a very striking resemblance to Swanky Kong's appearance in Donkey Kong Country 3. Now, I'm not sure if they only included Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong just for the poster, or if they do play some kind of role in the movie, but there they are. They're in the poster, and we'll just have to wait until the movie comes out to see if they do have any sort of roles to play. Now, one thing I found kind of odd about this scene is that the crowd is chanting Mario's name, which doesn't really make any sense for this scene because the crowd is just filled with Kongs. If anything, they should be cheering for Donkey Kong, so I get a feeling this was just added for the trailer. In the crowd here, when Donkey Kong shows up, we can see these 2 Kongs in the background holding these big D and K letters. Now, I don't think these are any specific members of the DK crew, but the Kong holding the D does kind of look like Chunky Kong. I don't know if that's just me, but if you saw it, let me know in the comments, I guess. Mario pumps himself up by saying, "Okay, let's-a go." Of course, that's a thing that Mario says in the games. And now we get a first look at Donkey Kong himself. And I just gotta say, I love this redesign of Donkey Kong so much. He looks like a mix of his Donkey Kong Country appearance and also his original arcade appearance, which I think Shigeru Miyamoto specifically said was to reflect his goofier personality in this movie. It's recognizable, you can still tell that it's Donkey Kong, but it still feels unique to this particular iteration. I just love it. I absolutely love it. I also love this scene right here, seeing Mario and Donkey Kong fighting on top of this steel red girder with a blue ladder and these barrels over here. This is obviously a reference to the Donkey Kong arcade game. And then we get our first official look at Princess Peach as she and Toad are sitting by Cranky Kong, similar to how King Koopa forced Princess Toadstool to sit by his side and watch Mario and Luigi fight in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show episode, The Great Gladiator Gig. This isn't my first time seeing Peach, because I've been paying attention to some of the leaks, but again, I absolutely love her design in this movie. It's still recognizable, but again, it still feels very unique. It looks like her design is partially based on her later Smash Bros. Appearances, since her dress has more detail, and some of the details are very similar to the Smash appearances. But speaking of Smash Bros., when Mario is charging at Donkey Kong, he strikes this pose, which is very similar to his forward aerial in the Smash Bros. Games, but this ends up being fruitless because Donkey Kong just grabs him and effortlessly beats the crap out of him, which I thought was hilarious. And now let's go back to Cranky Kong for a second. This is our first official look at him in this movie as well. He's dressed like some kind of ancient god with a big crown and a long red robe, so I guess he's like the leader of these Kong people, I suppose. The next scene shows Bowser interrogating Luigi, who's being immobilized with this sort of blue magic. And the way Bowser is talking to Luigi here makes it seem like Mario could actually pose a threat to him. Maybe there's some kind of prophecy that Bowser's aware of that says someone like Mario would come along to stop him. And it seems like he's interrogating Luigi to figure out where Mario might be. Bowser also appears to be in a room with what looks like a bridge over a pit of lava, similar to many of his final levels in the games. During this scene, we also get a shot of Bowser's minions throwing a party with a dance floor, a DJ, and some giant speakers with spikes coming out of them. We see some swoopers, piranha plants, Shy Guys, a Sniffet, which is really interesting, Buzzy Beetles, Sledge Brothers, Goombas, Spinies, Bob-ombs, and I think that's a Hammer Brother right there, just judging from the shape of the beak and the helmet. There are also these big Bowser statues surrounding the area. All of them appear to be in different poses that Bowser makes in various pieces of game art. Then we get another shot of the Ice Kingdom scene. This time we actually see the Koopas coming out of the fortress. And I don't know why, but this is one of my favorite moments in this trailer, because they actually like roll down in their shells and then pop out when they touch the ground. I don't know why, I just think it's awesome. I love this. Then we see Mario spinning this wrench around, getting ready to fix this sink in a normal looking bathroom. And then later we see a shot of Mario and Luigi on a city street giving each other a fist bump, seemingly about to prepare for a job. If you guys have been paying attention to some of the leaks that have been coming out recently, you'll know that there's a particular piece of art that shows Mario and Luigi in front of their van in this city, which, if you look at the street signs in the background and the license plate on the van, this is officially Brooklyn, New York. So yes, they are actually doing the Brooklyn origin story like in the cartoons. I also love the detail on the van, like the little drawing of Mario done in the style of the official 2D art. That's great. I also noticed that in this picture of Mario and Luigi in New York, that Pauline is in the background. I don't know how I just noticed that now, but yeah, I guess Pauline is going to be in this movie. If you look at this shot again, you'll see that Luigi's got this toolbox wrapped around his shoulder, and then we get this absolutely amazing shot of Bowser's fortress hovering over Peach's castle. And then later, I'm assuming during this same scene, we get this overhead shot of Peach's castle, and we can see it's surrounded by these 6 different star shapes. 4 of them are slightly brighter and have these round shapes on top of them, while the other 2 are darker and flat. Now we know that the Power Stars are going to be playing a big part in this movie. Maybe these star shapes around Peach's castle could have some more significance in that maybe Peach is meant to be like the protector of the Power Stars in some way. But speaking of Peach, the next scene takes us inside her castle. We got a teaser image of this a day before the second trailer came out. And like with the exterior, the interior is clearly influenced by the Super Mario Odyssey version of this castle, with the staircase leading up to the throne. But man, this is just absolutely beautiful. But then we see these 8 toads that are gathered around this giant map of the Mushroom Kingdom. Now the toads are all wearing these bow ties and vests, kind of like Toadsworth. Some of them are even wearing similar pairs of glasses to Toadsworth. And I'm guessing these toads could serve as like advisors to Peach, kind of like the Chancellor from Super Mario RPG or the Toad Minister from Paper Mario. Now the map shows models of Peach's castle, this desert world over here, presumably DK Island, an island with these rounded structures that vaguely resembles Yoshi's Island as it appears on the title screen of the original game, and this volcanic area, which I'm assuming was where Luigi was in the first teaser. Now people are speculating that the desert world could actually be Sarasaland, with the pyramid representing the Birabuto Kingdom. We already have plenty of evidence to suggest that Daisy is going to appear in this movie in some capacity, so this being Sarasaland is completely possible. Now this Kong area has like this giant Kong head formation with water coming out of the mouth like a waterfall, and there's also this weird structure over here that's kind of hard to make out, but I'm assuming this is Donkey Kong's treehouse, maybe? And there's also the snowy area representing the Ice Kingdom, but it's dark and engulfed in flames, indicating that Bowser had just attacked it, which we saw in the first teaser. And we also see Bowser's fortress moving across the map from the Ice Kingdom toward Peach's castle, and there's a glowing power star above it, showing that he's obtained that power star from the Ice Kingdom. Also, the way that Bowser's Fortress moves across the map is a lot like how the airships move across the map in games like Super Mario Bros. 3 and New Super Mario Bros. Peach's castle is also surrounded by these slanted gray rock formations, similar to games like New Super Mario Bros. U. And then later we see the map board as atop this pattern that kind of looks like the sun rug from the games. And then we get this shot of Peach and Toad getting ready to take on Bowser as they make their way out of the castle. We see these helmets and axes lying around, which were also seen being carried by two Toads in the previous shot. So Peach's castle, I'm guessing, must have been attacked before this took place. Peach is also wearing her racing outfit from the later Mario Kart games, starting with Mario Kart Wii, and she just takes this axe, spins it, and carries it behind her, getting ready to take on Bowser. Toad also pulls out a frying pan, which he was depicted with in the McDonald's leaks, so I guess those are true. And then we see them making their way outside, and the walkway leading to the castle also resembles that of the Paper Mario games. And there are also these pots with bushes that have flowers coming out of them, making them look like mushrooms, which that's just adorable. And I also love in the background when this yellow Toad says,
"Look at us! We're adorable!"
We can see these two Toads in the back making a little heart with their hands. I don't know, I just find that kind of funny. Now later, we see Mario and Peach on this floating platform in front of an obstacle course-like area with mechanical piranha plants coming out of pipes, there are bullet bill blasters, donut lifts, moving platforms, fake fire bars, question blocks, brick blocks, some cloud platforms, and even rotating blocks from Super Mario World. And there's also the classic flagpole from the games with the Super Mushroom insignia on the flag, which I'm guessing is like the start and end point for this training exercise. Mario and Peach are also standing by these lights that resemble the Super Crown from New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. During the training scene, Mario is running across some brick blocks and then gets hit by a bullet bill with a Bonsai Bill face on it. And then we see Mario, Peach, and Toad walking across this wooden bridge with Cheep Cheeps coming up from below, similar to World 2-3 in the original Super Mario Bros. And then we see Mario flying around in the Tanuki suit while an actual Bonsai Bill comes flying toward him. Now, the way they depict Mario flying in the Tanuki suit is really interesting because he does it by spinning his tail around, like Tails in the Sonic games. And then we see Mario and Peach in a field full of fire flowers, and Peach actually touches one of them, and we see this energy from the flower go onto her hand, which gives her the power to create fire. And her dress also changes to red and white like it does in Super Mario 3D World, except that her hair stays down instead of automatically going into a ponytail. This field of flowers could be a callback to the flower garden in the Mario anime movie, The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. Of course, those flowers are actually piranha plants, but you know. And then Peach says there's a huge universe out there with a lot of galaxies. They're all counting on us. Okay, you cannot mention the word galaxies in something Mario related and not have people immediately think of Super Mario Galaxy. So I'm not sure if Rosalina is actually going to make an appearance in this movie or if they're just going to give all of her cosmic wisdom to Peach. But this line does imply that there is much more at stake than Mario might realize. Then, God, again, with the beautiful shots, we get this one of Mario and Peach and Toad standing on this rock, looking out at some giant rock structures poking through the clouds as the sun is setting. This movie looks gorgeous. And then we get to see a horde of Yoshis running through a jungle. And they're all different colors too. I see red, yellow, pink, black, blue. I don't see any green ones though, which is very interesting. Now, judging from all these different Yoshis and just the scenery and these rocks with moss growing on them to make them look like Yoshi eggs, I'm guessing this is actually Yoshi's Island. But after that, we see Mario and Luigi flying through this colorful vortex. Presumably, this is when they first arrive in the Mushroom Kingdom. I'm assuming so because Luigi still has that toolbox from earlier, but the colors remind me a lot of the opening to Super Mario 3D World when the gang goes down the clear pipe and travels to the Sprixie Kingdom. And the sequence also kind of reminds me of when they arrive in the other worlds in both the anime film and the live action film. There are also other warp pipes in this realm with these same vortexes leading into them. So I'm guessing this is kind of like maybe the Star Road, where you go down this one pipe and then there's this pathway with alternate routes leading into other pipes that probably take you into other worlds or other universes. And then the trailer ends with probably the biggest fan servicey moment in this entire thing. We get a big Mario Kart inspired sequence with Mario driving down this ramp onto this rainbow road with Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, and a bunch of other Kongs with this kind of Mad Max thing going on with the different vehicles. Mario's driving what looks like a combination of the pipe frame from the early games and the standard kart from Mario Kart Wii. Peach is on a motorcycle, which doesn't look like it's from any specific Mario Kart game, although it does kind of have like an Akira sort of vibe to it. Toad is driving what looks like a beefed up mix of the Tiny Titan from Mario Kart Wii and the Bolt Buggy from Mario Kart 7, and Donkey Kong's kart has these rocket barrels from Donkey Kong Country Returns, and there are two Kongs back here that look like Funky Kong, and one that I think might be Kiddy Kong, or at least a Kiddy Kong lookalike. And then Mario makes his kart jump, like karts do when you drift in the games, and then it makes the small Mario jumping sound from the original Super Mario Brothers, although that might just be for the trailer again. And then he says, "Wahoo!" There you go, he said it. Are you guys happy now? Okay, now that's just everything we saw in the second trailer. Now let's talk about the commercials, because these do actually show a little bit more of the movie. So this first commercial, which I believe is from the Netherlands, shows Toad leading Mario into Toad Town. And there's this watch hanging by the fruit stand, which looks a lot like the stopwatch from Super Mario Bros. 2. And at the bread stand, we can see these two birds from Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World. There are ATM machines where Toads hit blocks to collect coins, and we hear the classic coin sound as they hit the blocks. And the ATM symbols are also the chests from Super Mario Bros. 3. I love seeing elements of the real world be reinterpreted in the Mushroom Kingdom. I think this is really clever. Then we see Toad leading Mario towards a clear pipe from Super Mario 3D World. And in the back, we can see a blue Toad and a hard hat with stacks of crates similar to artwork of Toad from Super Mario Maker. And to the left of the clear pipe is also this block with a fire flower symbol on it. And there's a thumbs up symbol next to the pipe that disappears and turns red. And I'm guessing it also becomes an X, like how other pipes work. And I'm assuming this is to let people know that the pipe is in use. Also, when Toad goes up the pipe, we hear that classic warp pipe sound from the games, which doesn't really make sense for clear pipes because they have their own dedicated sound effect. And then when Mario comes out of the pipe later on, we get this sort of straight on view, which I'm guessing was to replicate the side-scrolling view of the 2D games. This first pipe Mario comes out of has the Super Mushroom insignia next to it, and then to the right is a red pipe with a Super Leaf insignia and another red X, so I'm guessing Mario tried to go down this red pipe on the right, but then came out of the green pipe, which is weird because the red pipe below also has a Super Leaf next to it, so I'm just as confused as Mario seems to be, which I'm guessing is the point. But again, going back to the idea of taking real-world concepts and interpreting them in the Mario universe, pipe travel in this movie seems like a common means of transportation among Mushroom Kingdomers, kind of like public transit. I think that's really cool and really just comes to show how creative these people are when it comes to coming up with this new world for Mario to inhabit. And now let's take a look at this other commercial that quietly dropped. The footage that I found didn't have this part in it, but I guess somebody else found it. So it opens with Mario and Luigi in this huge kind of sewer plant. All these pipes everywhere, and we see Mario going through a tunnel, like looking around. It's all in Spanish, so I can't really understand what they're talking about or what they're saying. So I'm guessing this huge sewer plant is where Mario and Luigi actually end up going, and I'm guessing this is how they end up getting taken to the Mushroom Kingdom. They must find some like giant pipe or something. And then we get this part right here. It's the same like colorful vortex that we saw in the second trailer, but we see two different paths. We see one that goes into like this dark cloud with fire coming out of it, which I'm guessing is Bowser's Kingdom, and then we see this other one going in the opposite direction. I'm guessing Mario and Luigi end up getting warped to different parts of the Mushroom Kingdom. This is the first time we actually see the bramble from the Mario poster in motion as it stands over Mario and just looks down on him. And then we see that same balloon from Luigi's character poster flying towards Bowser's fortress. I'm assuming this is something that belongs to Bowser and that this is how Luigi gets captured. We then see Luigi being taken to Bowser by a Sniffet and two Shy Guys. And then Toad says Luigi has landed in the Dark Lands. Now, Dark Land was the name of Bowser's kingdom in Super Mario Bros. 3. And then we see Bowser sitting in his throne, which looks a lot like his throne in Super Mario Galaxy 2. And then we see Mario and Peach walking onto that platform from the second trailer, and we see that it can actually move. So I'm guessing this is how they get to the obstacle course section. And then during the training sequence, we can see that Mario is kind of getting better at dodging enemies. And as he punches through this Bowser standee, his maneuver is very similar, again, to his forward aerial in Super Smash Bros. And aside from all that new stuff, both these commercials also reuse footage from the first two trailers that we've seen already, but yeah, that is pretty much it. So, those are all the little details and references and Easter eggs and whatnot that I spotted in the second trailer and the two new commercials for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And overall, I'm still really excited to see this. But of course, as I talked about in my live stream, it's awesome to see all the little nods and Easter eggs and stuff. Like the Mario Kart sequence, I'm sure is just going to be a complete visual spectacle in every possible way. But by the end of it, I couldn't help but just think to myself, how is all this going to tie into the story? Because movies like Jurassic World Dominion have shown us, like, yeah, you can have all these kind of nostalgia, fan servicey moments, whatnot, but you can't just shove member berries down people's throats for 2.5 hours and expect to convince them that they're seeing a good movie. Compare that to like Spider-Man No Way Home, where the fan service and the references actually are integral to the story. Even if you haven't seen the Tobey Maguire movies or the Andrew Garfield movies and only saw like the Tom Holland movies, you can still kind of follow it okay. Like, especially with Tobey and Andrew, you get the sense that like, oh, these Spider-Men have had their own hardships as well. And this is how they relate to Tom's Peter. I really want the Super Mario Bros. Movie to work in kind of the same way. Like, yes, you can have all the fan service and nostalgia and references and stuff. I'm gonna eat it all up because I'm obsessed with these games. But again, if they don't contribute to the story in any meaningful way beyond just being there for the sake of being there, then the movie's probably gonna fall apart. With the Mario Kart sequence in particular, maybe the purpose of it will be, like, for the Kongs to test Mario to see if he's really as capable as he might make himself out to be. It could also just be a ritual as part of their culture. The point I'm trying to get at is you can have the Mario Kart sequence, you can have the Donkey Kong fight in the Coliseum, you can even have like a little Luigi's Mansion thing, but they have to serve the story to some degree. And right now that's my biggest concern, is that it's just going to be nothing but fan service and Easter eggs. Another thing I'm kind of worried about is Luigi's role in this movie. Because during the second trailer, we saw a lot of shots with Mario and Peach and Toad, but Luigi was not with them. And I get the feeling that instead of making Luigi like a central part of the main plot, he's probably going to have his own thing going on, or just based on the scenes of him and Bowser, I get the feeling that Luigi might actually be the one that Mario has to rescue instead of Peach. I feel like he's going to be the damsel in distress, which I'm kind of split about. On one hand, I would rather have him be like a main character alongside Mario, like in the live action movie. But on the other hand, Mario having to rescue Luigi does kind of make the stakes a little more personal for him, and gives him more of a believable and understandable reason for wanting to go after Bowser and save the Mushroom Kingdom. I can see why they would sort of go in that direction, and if anything, it could serve as a testament to how much Mario actually does care about his brother, but at the same time, it's called the Super Mario Brothers movie, so I want both of the Super Mario Brothers to be the central focus. I'm not saying that Peach has to be the damsel. They can do a Super Mario Adventures thing where she does end up getting captured, but she ends up saving herself, and if anything, weakens Bowser's forces from the inside. Yeah, I'm still a little torn about Luigi's role in this film. I hope it plays out better than I'm worried it might, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Luigi should be the damsel? Do you think he should be a main character helping to save the day alongside Mario? Tell me what you guys think, and also let me know what you thought of this second trailer and also the new commercials that came out as well. Did these get you even more excited for the film? Are you more concerned? Were you excited before but are now worried about how it's going to play out? Were you worried before but are now excited? Whatever you thought about this new footage, just let me know in the comments. And if you want to talk about this movie more with me, I have a Mario movie channel in my Discord server. We can talk about it there, share some news stories and announcements and whatnot, and just keep geeking out about these great characters and this great franchise. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking because my throat is getting tired. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody that tuned in to my reaction stream on Tuesday. And until next time, this is Mark bidding you all a smashing farewell. Be cool, behave, be safe, and I'll see you guys later.